On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We got a lot going on, major news going on, some weird stuff happening with some of the wars. Israel's kind of tripping me out right now. Netanyahu escaping yet more court stuff because of a war. Very strange. Also, a bunch around Epstein and the continuing saga of it. Got a lot to cover there. Got a lot of information that I got to get into, so we're going to try to hop into it quickly. Want to remind everybody I got an awesome music show lined up. Just incredible songs. It's inspired by Golden Years by our boy, oh Lord have mercy, David Bowie. And just a lot of kind of that same similar sounding kind of music. I was shocked. There's a couple songs in there that I hadn't heard in a long time that I think you're going to love. So come join us Friday. It'll be 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We've also got the Law of One that we're going to be doing the next session. This one's actually going to be pretty fun, too. That's happening on Thursday, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and the other times. All that said, let's get into this. Got some freaking awesome stuff to cover. First and foremost, this is very bothersome. Thought I would start here. Microsoft's Chinese engineers have access to Pentagon systems with minimal oversight from digital escorts. Just literally, Chinese engineers in our Pentagon computer systems. This is pretty screwed up. ProPublica is doing the investigation. They uncovered this. They're relying on engineers based in China to help maintain sensitive computer systems for the U.S. Department of Defense. This is insane. Again, this is a lot of the stuff that the deep state's been doing intentionally, and the Biden administration obviously pushing as well. So these are not surprises, but at least we are catching them, or catching on at least. White House is investigating the use of the AutoPen. They're going to be looking at upwards close to 1 million documents. I mean, there's tens of thousands of documents thus far that they're digging into. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff with this. We've got Rand Paul at some point talking about how pardons are going to work, especially if they've been done by the AutoPen, and the only way to really move that forward. I got that quote coming up from him here shortly, or at least his little 30 seconds of video. Again, Rand Paul kind of getting back into good graces a little bit with me, but man, he really pissed me off on the big, beautiful bill stuff. We really needed to get that pushed through, and he's still fighting that, for that matter. VP J.D. Vance breaks the tie for the Doge recession bill towards the final Senate vote. Got it out of committee. They tied it there. Senate was split, I guess, 50-50 before Vance's intervention. 3 Republicans. You know exactly who. McConnell, Murkowski, and Collins. They were the ones that sided with the Democrats. Now, again, McConnell, not going to run again. Murkowski and Collins both know they have no chance of ever winning again. Wow. I think Murkowski's the one from Alaska, and they've got that ranked voting, and I still think she's going to lose. She'll never win again, nor should she. So we'll see what happens when they finally get this final bill going, and hopefully that passes. We need those cuts back, and it's just funny how we're having a hard time passing actual cuts in spending. It's just blowing my mind. Democrats have a mortgage fraud problem, and the feds are definitely looking into this. It's all around Adam Shifty Schiff and his mortgage thing, but it's not just him. We obviously know that Letitz James was doing the same thing, right? She stated she had a 4-unit property when she, in fact, had a 5-unit property. She did that because it was cheaper and got her better rates, less red tape to jump through. And they have one other individual, Marilyn Mosby. And this goes back to 2022, I guess. She was convicted in connection with mortgage application for a condo in Florida. Court upheld her perjury convictions, and she is facing disbarment proceedings. Now, the appellate court apparently kind of kicked this one down, or basically said no. But we're going to see, again, because it's probably going to continue up as it stands. So, again, they've got a bit of a problem. Seems to be something that they're used to getting away with. Or, probably a lot of politicians have been doing this, frankly. But now they're starting to get caught. Rent a protester CEO. He's rejecting a $20 million contract to stage anti-Trump protests. His reasoning's kind of interesting. I thought it was worth playing. Check it out.
Have the organizers of the July 17th demonstrations approached you?
Interests aligned with the organizers of the July 17th movement have approached us. And in fact, we rejected an offer that probably is worth around $20 million.
$20 million?
Correct. I mean, this is a nationwide thing, right? It's not to say I would have made $20 million personally, but the value of the contract would have been worth around that amount nationwide to organize huge demonstrations around the country. But personally, I just don't think it's effective. So I'm not trying to call myself virtuous for rejecting it. What I'm saying is, I'm saying I'm rejecting it not because I don't want to take the business, but because frankly, this is going to be ineffective. It's going to make us all look bad.
So I asked Swart who exactly offered him the $20 million. That, of course, was the natural question, but he says he would not say, says he does not talk about who exactly his clients are, that it would be bad for business, and he's been in business for 15 years, and he has to turn down a lot of contracts. But, interesting, $20 million is it's a lot of money.
Oh, Brian, quickly, before I let you go, did he explain about why he doesn't want to be involved with Thursday's protests?
Well, he said he had some concern about violence based on what he's seen in the past, but mostly he just doesn't think that it's productive or really making a difference big picture about how the country feels about President Trump. And he says he just didn't want to get involved.
I'm curious how efficient these groups are, and I'm curious how many of them there are. Like, we obviously have been hearing about this one guy a couple times now, right? But he's not going to be involved. So these Thursday protests, does that mean they're going to be far, far fewer people? Or how is their actual organic grassroots stuff really work? We're going to find out apparently tomorrow. I didn't realize that. I mean, this is kind of how I found out about tomorrow's thing. I don't really care too much. I mean, they keep trying crazy stuff, but it's not going well. Here's Rand Paul talking about pardons and how those are going to work if the auto pen was in fact involved.
The only way we could actually get this into court is hopefully the DOJ would do their job, indict Anthony Fauci for the felony of lying to Congress, and then take it to court, and then they can plead that he has been pardoned, but then the court could judge whether the pardon is valid. So the only way we get this into court is someone who's been pardoned will have to be indicted, and I would promote that Anthony Fauci is a prime specimen for this.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens when they get him in, and we'll find out if his pardon's worth a shit. This should be interesting for sure. Ex-New York PD commissioner is suing New York City mayor, alleging he ran a police department as a criminal enterprise. Once again, they're going after Eric Adams hard, right? Feels very much like what happened with Trump. They've obviously got Mamdani in there. Mamdani is who the deep state needs to be running New York. Needs to be running New York. Just like we've got Karen Bass, who is a known communist, was involved with the Communist Party back in her younger years. They need a communist in these two biggest cities in the country. They are not going to let Eric Adams win. They're going to try to stop him. I think he's still going to win anyways, but we'll see. We'll see when we get that far, right? It's crazy stuff's going on. Tesla's North American sales chief has departed as the EV sales slump continues. Probably difficult for these guys when they keep having Elon Musk run around and saying stupid shit. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I'll be honest, the thought of maybe buying a Tesla was on the tip of my brain. And, I got solar now, so it was like, that kind of makes sense. I could basically charge my car and not have to pay for it. That's kind of cool, right? But I don't want one now. I don't want a Tesla now. I'm not going to buy one. Period. End of story. Because of Elon. So, yeah, Elon's created a huge problem. The left hates his ass, and now the right doesn't like him too much either. He's in a tough place. He's got maybe 20%. He talks about the 80-20 rule. He's on the wrong side of that, and I don't know if he's ever going to figure it out. But Troy Jones was the Tesla's vice president of sales, service, and delivery in North America. He has left the company after 15 years. 15 long years. So, yeah, obviously things are getting a little weird around the Trump household. Apparently the owner of this illegal alien weed farm here in California, the one where they found 10 children working, 8 of which were unaccompanied children. The owners of this illegal weed place is co-founder of Glass House Farms. This is Graham Farah. He's donated substantial sums to California Governor Gavin Newsom and other Democrats, according to the campaign finance records. Farah's company, Glass House Farms, was raided by federal agents last Thursday, resulting in the detention of 361 illegal immigrants, including 14 minors. I bet he's going to have a hard time picking his crops now, won't he? Wonder if he's paying these people sub-wages, too. Senator is putting forward a bill to halt birthright citizenship for anchor babies. It's Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas. He has introduced the Constitutional Citizenship Clarification Act. Was it CCCR? CCCA? Anyway. The bill would end birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to illegal aliens. We'll see if they can get that pushed through. Rep. Byron Donalds, he talks about alligator Alcatraz and what we need to alleviate the backlog. And he's kind of 100% right. He says our jails are full. And so you have to find a place and to place illegals so you can make sure they're prepared to be deported with ICE. So what we did, really, what the governor gave us, to his credit, what he did with his team is they built out a facility at the jetport. It's literally like an airport, and they're putting this alligator Alcatraz out there. So they're able to literally fly in, put people immediately on the plane without any sort of big deal, and fly them out. It's pretty awesome. This is a pretty brilliant idea. Obviously, the Democrats hate it. They call it inhumane and all these other things, whatever. They call everything inhumane. Don't even care anymore. Some cool election news or type news. Michigan Supreme Court ruling in the RNC versus City of Flint. This, I guess, 7/14 is when this was done. It sets a strong precedent for the Fulton County GOP's lawsuit in Georgia. Both cases fight for bipartisan election oversight as required by law. Michigan affirmed the RNC's right to sue over unbalanced poll worker hiring, supporting the Georgia's GOP's challenge to Fulton County's rejection of its election board nominees. Can't do that. You can't decide, the other party can't decide who we put as our people. The Michigan case bolsters arguments for standing and mandatory bipartisan appointments, countering political tests. Though Georgia's case involves specific nominee disputes, the Michigan precedent could push for a fair review, ensuring balanced representation on Fulton's election board. Big deal on that one, for sure. Also, in the election side of things, the DOJ hit states with requests for voter rolls and election data. Trump administration launches comprehensive efforts to ensure an election integrity amid the 2026 midterm preparations. The ball is rolling. The Trump administration's launched this comprehensive effort to collect voter data and examine election systems across multiple states, marking a significant federal push to ensure election integrity ahead of the 2026 midterms. Justice Department has taken the unusual step of asking at least 9 states for copies of their voter rolls, and at least 2 have turned them over, according to state officials. DOJ's voting section has accused states, including North Carolina, Arizona, and Oregon, of inadequately verifying voters' identities or not doing enough to maintain accurate voter rolls. Those inquiries went to a mix of Republican and Democratic-controlled states, including Alaska, Colorado, Florida, Minnesota, Nevada, New Hampshire, New York, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and according to copies of the letters and information from state election officials. The most extensive requests came to Colorado, where the Justice Department asked Colorado's Secretary of State to turn over all records relating to 2024 federal elections, as well as preserve any records that remain from 2020 elections. A sprawling request several voting experts and officials told NPR was highly unusual. Colorado and Florida have provided the Justice Department with information from their list that is generally available to the public, while most other states said they were reviewing the request. Yeah, they obviously don't want to give them up. Now, of course, I want to remind you guys of Mike Lindell. He's fighting this fight, and he's going big time against toe-to-toe against Dominion. If you guys want to donate or can donate, mypillowtrial.com, mypillowtrial.com. Now, I do want to remind you guys about MyPillow, mypillow.com/OTF. Incredible promo codes. In fact, a big part of why we've got the bitchin' sales right now that we've got in here is because Mike actually thought he was meeting with me again this week, but we're doing every other week, and we just shifted a week. So gotten in touch with all the people, and everybody knows. So they gave us these sweet deals, which means likely this sweet deal is probably going to go a week longer. So $39.98 on these slippers, the original My Slippers. This is an incredible deal. Do not miss out on this. Think Christmas, think whatever. This is the best price they're ever going to be this year. Guarantee. This is a sweet, sweet, sweet deal. And the Giza sheets are another one, $49.98, any size, any color. Also, you're not going to see a better deal this year or next year on the Giza sheets. This new leather protectant spray, I don't know what's going on with this. Pretty awesome. $5 with the promo code. Normally it's $20. And again, they've got some like these the suede shoes. But this works on leather. You got a leather couch. You got leather upholstery in your car, and this stuff helps protect it. It's actually pretty good stuff. Check it out. Also, we've got the kitchen products, kitchen towels, I should say. They've got the The gloves for the warming, you know, if it's too hot and you grab the thing out of the oven, they've got those. They got a lot of really, really cool stuff that they make out of cotton. Their bathrobes are incredible. Highly recommend you check out their clothing, their clearance event. You go to this tab there. All sorts of great stuff is all hanging out in there. Also, dog beds. You got to give them the dog beds, man. It's a My Pillow for your dogs. Come on. And the Rev 7, incredible beverage. It's weird how good they taste considering they have like nothing in them that causes calories anyway. The energy in them, it's the same energy that you create if you're like keto, if you're ketosis right now, and you go to the gym, meaning you haven't eaten any food, and you go down to the gym, your body creates energy. And it does it essentially from breaking down fat, and it does some cool stuff that way, and it creates this chemical that's chemical energy. This has that in it. It has that same biological energy stuff that's in our body. I forget what it's called, some HBB or some weird ass thing like that, but it's amazing how much energy it gives you. It's fantastic. You don't get the jitters. It's really, really good. And the flavor, again, flavor's amazing. The blue one's definitely hands down my favorite. Lemonade I've also got. Not a big green apple fan, but it tastes just like a green Jolly Rancher. Many people love that flavor, right? I'm not a fan. That was like my least favorite Jolly Rancher, right? So that said, they're incredible. Try all three. All you got to do is pay for shipping. If you get this free 3-pack, you just got to pay for shipping. Also, the 50% blowout on the beach towels. Again, they make the best towels that you'll ever use and the best pillow, the classic pillow that you'll ever use. Again, they got mattresses. They've got toppers at a good price, $149.97 right now on their topper, which is a very good way to give some additional life to an existing mattress that's maybe getting older. And of course, they got, pillows for your couches and recliners if you need some of those. Also the My Cross, that's the same one that Mike Lindell wears. There's a men and women's sizes. There's 2 different colors. There's one that's got a white inner with a black outer, and then they've got the one that's pictured here, which is the black inner with the silver outer. Both very beautiful. Sterling silver. Awesome stuff. Definitely check it out. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Or you can order now. Just call 1-800-544-8939. 1-800-544-8939. That actually helps the channel too. It's tied to my OTF code. So that's a unique phone number for my customers. If you guys want to try that out, it works as well. mypillow.com/OTF. Easily the easiest way to go about it. All right, we got some leaked messages that reveal Anderson's fury. University has declared war on 70% of the country. This guy just thinks that universities have just, messed themselves up. But for 50 years, they've been cutting out the best and brightest of our nation, white people, Asian people, trying to keep them out of college and letting other people go in their place. I certainly had that problem. I could not have gotten into any of the really, really good schools. I had great grades. I was very involved, blah, 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 blah. I had volunteer hours up the wazoo. Was just no way I was going to get in. DEI and all that stuff has destroyed it. Now, they talked about how we have a shortage of doctors in this country, PhDs for that matter. And he kind of gets into the fact it's like, we keep keeping the best and brightest out of our system. And so that's a big part of why we've got the problems we have. Said, when these two forms of discrimination combine, as they have for the last 60 years and on hyperdrive for the last decade, they systematically cut most of the children of the Trump voter base out of any realistic prospects of access to higher education and corporate America. Here's essentially him saying some of this stuff, 55 seconds of it anyways. Check it out. Whoops. Let's try to get this here.
Nobody wants to talk about, but I've started to talk about the intersection of DEI and immigration that has really, I think, warped, our perceptions on high-skilled immigration over the last 50 years. You look at like the foreign enrollment rates of the top universities, which went from, 2 or 3 or 4% 50 years ago to whatever, 27 or 30 or 50.
And Columbia's over half, right?
70% or whatever it is. And so there's been this massive transformation in who gets educated. And then there's been this massive transformation of who gets admitted through affirmative action. And then, as we now know it, DEI. And again, this goes straight to the political divide in the country, which is if you're parents of a kid where I grew up and you've got a smart kid and you think you're going to get them into, a top university in this country, like you are fooling yourself. There is this really fundamental question, which is like what level of untapped talent exists in this country that a combination of DEI and immigration have basically cut out of the loop for the last 50 years. And how long can we have this, story to everybody in the Midwest and the South that says, sorry, you're, because of historical oppression, your kids are SOL. Nobody.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what created the problem we are in today. Again, it's just out. It's just crazy. Education Department announced on Tuesday it is opening a foreign funding investigation against the University of Michigan after alleged inaccurate disclosures in the school's foreign reports. The department is demanding the university provide a litany of documents within 30 days, including tax records related to foreign funding since 2020, a copy of written agreements with foreign governments and companies, and a list of all foreign gifts since 2020. It'll be interesting to see what pops out of that whole nonsense down there. This is, again, a private school, and this is leaked, and this is Belmont University in Tennessee. They're talking about this, well, the way they've changed DEI. They now call it Hub. And we've even got him admitting that they're doing this and that this is the continuation of DEI. You just have to listen to a smidgen of this. Check it out.
The hub is hope, unity, and belonging. That's DEI. Let's be real. It's just higher ed right now. That is just the trend across the nation that people are starting to pick up on. It's more about belonging and inclusive. It's not about DEI. It's about how can we be culturally competent. We're always going to keep doing what we're doing. The work never stops. We just...
Yeah, how to be culturally competent. But really what this comes down to is you've got people that dislike white people that are going to decide that anything and everything that white people say is somehow offensive, somehow not culturally conscious or conscientious, which is, I don't know, stupid. Because frankly, hating on me is not culturally conscientious as well. I mean, so again, it's just stupid. And disliking anyone for the color of their skin is also stupid. Again, Martin Luther King Jr. taught us very well that that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, whatever the case is, they don't seem to care. President Trump says the Epstein files were created by James Comey. He'd mentioned this on a few different platforms, but here's him with Carolyn Levitt having the same discussion with the press.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah. No,
Right. So we'll see. Hopefully she puts it out. Everybody's calling for openness and all that, which is fantastic. Trump's, here's him talking about it even further. Doesn't quite understand why everybody's making noise about this. Now, I get it. I mean, the problem is, I don't want to get off on it too much. I think for like 2-3 days now, I've just been beating the hell out of this story, and I'm friggin' sick of it, to be honest with you. But we have a bit of a problem with once we get something stuck inside our heads that we think is true, then it doesn't matter who offers what for proof. They won't ever believe it. Like, I was actually laughing because I was listening to a really brilliant hour-long thing about this dude that was talking about his experiences in Antarctica and all that. And I, of course, thought about the flat earth, and he talks about how you can go down there. And I was like, that'd be actually a fun trip. And I really posed it out. I was wanting to pose it out to anyone out there, like any of you guys that are got the means to go down there. And then, we'll kind of film it and stuff. I think it'd be rad. I think it'd be fantastic. But I think it would just be amazing to go down there and basically try to offer proof that there is no ice wall, that you can actually get up to Antarctica and be up on the ice mass, right? The long, flat ice, and that the sun kind of basically goes around in a circle like we would assume it should if Earth is roundish, right? But there'd still be a whole lot of people that just wouldn't believe it. They'd come up with some reason, your camera's not efficient, or you're lying, you didn't actually go there because nobody can go there, and it's like, I'm here. And it's like, no, you're not, you're obviously not, right? Like, there's just some people that once they make up their mind, there's nothing that can change that. Nothing. And it is cognitive dissonance, right? I mean, essentially. And again, kind of like I took a lot of physics classes and stuff, and I kind of definitely makes me more predisposed to thinking the Earth's round. But we even heard the stories how CIA came up with the story a while back, and it was more a test just to see if they could get a bunch of people to believe something. It's just how it plays out. Again, I'm not trying to start a fight with the flat Earth thing, but the Epstein thing is very much the same. Everybody's got this belief that there are Epstein files. Trump's never said anything about the Epstein files, ever. That's not been him about, I'm going to release the Epstein files. I think he said he's going to release the truth. He talked about JFK files. I think he talked about Martin Luther King and stuff like that. But he didn't say he was going to release the Epstein files. He's, I think, been as transparent as he can be, considering. And Kash Patel has been a big deal, trying to get into some of that stuff too. But again, whatever. This is the best info I got right now, and it's coming from Trump's mouth, which I think is also equally important. It's not going to work for everybody, though.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think, well, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
And again, a lot of people are going to have a hard time with all this. I get it. It's cool. Trump truthed this out. Once again, another long truth. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom, and even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made-up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we'll forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will. Even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years, I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all of these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Sure do wonder who he's talking about. This popped into my mind. Political story. Loomer delivers searing warning. Epstein could consume Trump's presidency. Really, Laura? I think you've been fired, is what I think, sweetheart. I don't think Trump has any space for you at all anymore. And in fact, I don't think anybody should, for that matter. You're definitely not a good person. Dershowitz on Epstein. No client list, but jailers may have assisted the suicide. He had a few key points that he shared with his Wall Street Journal op-ed. Epstein never created a client list. The FBI interviewed alleged victims who named several clients. These names have been redacted. They should be disclosed, but the courts have ordered them sealed. I know who they are. They don't include any current office holders. We don't know whether the accusations are true. The courts have also sealed negative information about some of the accusers to protect them. Neither the Justice Department nor private defense lawyers are free to disregard court-sealed orders. The media can and should petition the courts for the release of all names and information so the public can draw its own conclusions. Also further, he said, it is clear from the evidence that Epstein committed suicide. What isn't clear is whether he was assisted by jail personnel. That seems likely to me based on the evidence of allegedly broken cameras, transfer of his cellmate, and the absence of guards during relative time periods, as well as the autopsy that the brother did or had done. He says, I have absolutely no doubt that Epstein never worked for any intelligence agency. If he had, he would surely have told me and his lawyers who would have used that information to get him a better deal. He wasn't satisfied with the so-called sweetheart deal he got, which required him to spend 1.5 years in a local jail and register as a sex offender. My sources in Israel have confirmed to me that he had no connection to Israeli intelligence. That false story, recently peddled by Tucker Carlson, probably emanated from credible allegations that Robert Maxwell, the father of Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, that he, in fact, worked for the Mossad. So again, we're getting some of this information. There's no proof. It's alleged. Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. This is where a lot of people are just going to have to come up with their own conclusions, but he is pointing out the facts. This is what he knew. He was one of his lawyers for a long time. Dershowitz would probably have known. Now, Epstein's dead, so he could probably say whatever he wants about him. And, yeah, Tucker, does he have any proof? Or is this just based off of something else? And again, he's kind of one of the people that I feel like has done a disservice to a few of the movements in his approaches. And I think Laurel Loomer is one of those people. I think Alex, what's his face? The guy that's got the crazy voice, whatever his name is. I'm trying to blank on his stupid name. There's just a number of people that are not necessarily helping the bigger picture, aren't really trying to move the ball forward. Finding out in a lot of cases they're actually pushing stories that are distracting and not necessarily helping either. Again, we keep seeing a lot of this stuff, and so it's very interesting. And again, I don't mean to step on any toes of people that you might like. I apologize for that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that continually push interesting narratives that do not really help, one, unite us. They've been very divisive in a lot of the stuff that's come out, and it's not helping move the ball forward. It's not helping us get cleaner elections. It's not helping us get the criminals out of office. It's not helping us do that. It's causing disharmony. It's causing division. It's not helping. Whether it's true or false, kind of irrelevant. It's not helping. Much like the flat earth, doesn't matter, right? I don't know if it's round or flat for sure. I don't know. And it doesn't matter. It does not affect my life at all. If I found out tomorrow the earth was flat, my life wouldn't change one iota. If I found out tomorrow the earth was round, it wouldn't change my life at all. It doesn't matter. A lot of the stuff they keep pushing doesn't matter. Here was the presser. This guy was, I don't know if this is Indonesia's president. Who the hell was here? I think it was the dude from Qatar, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know who this dude was. The whole entire Q&A thing was pretty much tied around Bondi and the Epstein files. I want to play it because, again, I want to be as transparent as possible. Trump, I think, is trying to be transparent. We are expecting things to show up. And if those things we expect to show up don't show up, then we say they're not being transparent. Maybe these things don't exist. Is that possible? Just like I would say to anyone that's flat earth, is it possible the earth's round? Now, a good chunk of you will say, it's possible. I don't think it is because of this, this, and this. All right, that's cool. At least you're sort of open, right? That's fine. That's good. And the same would go for me. I constantly say it. I don't think it's flat, but it might be. Who knows? I don't know. I'd love to find out for sure. Going to Antarctica would be one, or I'd rather probably go up in space. I think that would be way funner. So if I had the opportunity, that's what I'll try to do. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to afford to get on Bezos' rocket, right? Unless Katy Perry goes again. But that said, yeah, who knows? And she's crazy, of course, but she's hot as hell. Come on. She's a crazy hot chick. It's probably good in bed. It's usually how that works. Needless to say, a lot of questions. Check it out. I got to probably turn my camera back on one of these days just to demonstrate that it's there, and I now see that it's off. Yeah. All set. Here's Trump.
Whoever operated the AutoPen had a policy, which is, by the way, I think the biggest scandal. That's the scandal they should be talking about, not Jeffrey Epstein. The scandal you should be talking about is the AutoPen, because I think it's the biggest scandal, one of them in American history. So the economy is doing really well, and people are seeing it. Yeah.
Will you ask Attorney General Pam Bondi to release more documents to finally put this controversy to bed?
Yeah, whatever's credible, she can release. If a document is credible, if a document's there that is credible, she can release. I think it's good. But it's just a subject. He's dead. He's gone, and. All it is certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook. And no different than Russia, and all the other hoaxes. They're started by the Democrats, and some Republicans, in this case, I was surprised, but they got duped.
But have you talked about it? Have you talked about it with her the last week?
President, first of all, a number of your high-ranking officials, whether it's been your FBI director or Pam Bondi, they have made some inconsistent statements in the past. You've had.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak about him, but I can say that Pam Bondi, I really think that she's done very good. She says, I gave you all the credible information. And if she finds any more credible information, she'll give that too. What more can she do than that? I mean, honestly, what more can she do? And we do have bigger problems. You know, we have problems with millions of illegal people that came in here, and they're killers and murderers. We have 11,888 murderers that were allowed into our country by Biden, sleepy Joe Biden, stupid Joe Biden. He allowed them into our country. And you know what? We got to do something about it. She's got a lot of things she's working on. And, you know, it's very sad that somebody can be waylaid, that just get waylaid. But I think she's doing a great job, President.
This morning, you mentioned past supporters when you were talking about the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters who are now calling?
I lost a lot of faith in certain people. Yeah, I lost because they got duped by the Democrats. The Democrats are good for nothing. They've done a terrible job. They almost destroyed our country. If I didn't get elected, all these numbers you're hearing about, they found $25 billion and another 25 is coming in and hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country. And we just got the biggest tax cut in history. We just got the biggest regulation cuts in history. There'll be no tax on tips. There'll be no tax on Social Security. There'll be no tax on overtime. There'll be no tax on so many other things. You're allowed to deduct your interest from a car payment. That's never happened before. You borrow interest. You borrow money to buy a car if the car is made in America. And by the way, factories are being built all over America. Car factories, AI factories. But you get a deduction on your interest. Nobody ever thought of that before. It never happened before. And, you know, these are the things that they should be talking about. The Big Beautiful Bill is one of the greatest pieces of legislation ever in this country. And the Democrats have nothing to combat it. So they say, oh, it's death. Oh, that's good. And then they give it to the fake news, which is you and a few others. And the fake news talks about the bill is death. The bill is actually life. The bill is life, and it saves our country. This bill is incredible. Look at the results already. So we have $16 trillion being invested in our country. And this great gentleman and his family just came in with another billions of dollars. And if he didn't like the country, if he didn't like where we were going, he's very smart. He'd come, maybe he wouldn't even come. I think maybe he wouldn't even come. You'd save your time. But, you know, it's one of those things. But if he didn't like where this country was, he wouldn't be investing billions of dollars in this country. But think of it, $16 trillion, more than has ever been even contemplated before. And we haven't even started yet. So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the success. And the Democrats have nothing to show for what they do. They almost destroyed. They allowed 25 million people to come into our country, gang members, jailbirds, from all over the world, not South America, from all over the world. They allowed them to come into our country from mental institutions, insane asylums, just walk right through. They couldn't come into your country. They couldn't come into any country in the world except our country. And they came in from the worst places, gang members, drug dealers. They all came in. Turn it off, please. They all came in. And I'm doing something about it. We have it under check right now. We got rid of a lot of the murderers already. Some of them we put in our prisons because they're so bad we don't want to take a chance in putting them in a foreign prison, have them come back. But we've done a great job. Our country's in great shape. We literally have the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it's true what the king said, what a lot of people said. We were a dead country. 1 year ago, we were a dead country. We were laughed at all over the world. We had Afghanistan with that horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Look what happened with Russia and Ukraine. That should have never happened. Look what happened with Israel. That would have never happened. Hamas had no money. Iran had no money. There was no money to do an attack like that. All these things that happened that wouldn't have happened if you had good leadership. And that's what you should be talking about. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, again, self-included on this, okay? We all need to understand and accept that maybe everything we believe is not 100% true. Just need to. And I mean, I fall on this sword often enough, man. You go public with stuff, you got to really try your best to be accurate or fair or whatever, right? And I'm wrong sometimes. It happens. It does. We all try our best. So one of the biggest things is to understand we're all fallible and that maybe not everything we believe is exactly the way we believe it is. And I say this primarily because of this stuff. So Chip Roy is saying the DOJ needs more transparency. And I want to share a few examples of this, obviously. But I kind of want to preface it. Here, let's just assume for a second that Trump is being honest with us, which I like to believe, okay? Maybe I'm wrong, whatever. Happy to admit that. I mean, he does play games where he has to change course. And so, some could say, well, you said this and then you did this. Okay, but usually they kind of misquote that. Iran's one of the greatest examples, right? Trump said he wanted to keep us out of wars, and then he goes and bombs Iran. Yeah, but we're not in a war with Iran, are we? No. So Trump didn't get us into a war with Iran, did he? No. So that's a shit argument. Here's the problem. Everybody says we need transparency. We need these documents released. Pam Bondi's like, I've released everything that I've got that's credible, that doesn't show child porn, that doesn't have children's names or whatever, right? Like, I've released everything I can. This is literally all we got. It's a big, fat fucking goose egg. And so many of us believe otherwise. Why? Because we've been told otherwise. Not by Trump, not by anyone credible, by people that claim to know. And we've believed them. We've never had proof from anybody. Yet we believe all the people that told us that there was more. He's not wrong in the whole Steele dossier thing, how they manufacture stuff, and then we're expected to believe it. And Democrats, they believed the Steele dossier. They believed Trump was tied in with Russia. They believed the Hunter laptop was fake. Didn't they? Because they were told that by credible sources. If a credible source tells you something, then it must be true, right? I've said this a bunch of times. I'm going to say it a bunch more times, I'm sure. Just because you have credentials, and I still question those, because someone can say they have credentials, very few people actually kind of prove it. But let's assume you actually have credentials. Does that mean you're honest? No. It doesn't mean that at all. Has nothing to do with your honesty, your integrity, your competency as a human being. It has nothing to do with that. But all of us are guilty on both sides of the fence. We see somebody that claims to have credentials, and then anything they fucking say, oh, it must be true. It's unreal. All said, what if there's nothing else to give, information-wise? What if literally we have been given everything that they can give? And that's literally all we got. Wouldn't surprise me they destroyed anything that's more important. And I don't know. I'm not saying it's not Mossad, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I mean, it's the deep state. And so Mossad's like, nah, we don't want to throw our names behind it. CIA hasn't said a damn thing yet, have they? And granted, they haven't necessarily been blamed yet. So again, tomato to me, frankly. Okay, it wasn't the Mossad. Then what other deep state intelligence agency was it? Because it had to have been. Kinda, right? What else? Who else? Why else would you have a honeypot situation? The only time they ever honeypot people, they had prostitution rings out on the East Coast. I mean, this kind of shit's happened forever. This is nothing new. This was extraordinary, and it's where they got super high class people that were, CEOs, CFOs, right? Wasn't necessarily where a politician would necessarily run to. Some did. That's where the politicians that get nabbed by the DC prostitutes and whatnot. See, there's people to nab people all over. Diddy with all of the music industry. Weinstein, possibly. Or at least, the guy from Playboy. What's his face? Hugh Hefner. He was doing honeypot stuff. This has been going on forever. Why is Epstein the one that we're freaking out about? And maybe there's not that much info. Why aren't we looking at the Playboy guy, Hefner? Why aren't we looking at some of these other people? Dude, that cigar guy from England. That's I forget his name. Crazy, sick bastard mofo. Right? There's a bunch of these dudes. So again, here's Chip Roy, and I like what he's saying. I was ready to be pissed at him when I started watching it. I'm like, okay.
As a member of the Judiciary Committee, do you think that the Justice Department has been transparent enough when it comes to the Epstein matter?
I'll let the Department of Justice continue to carry out what they need to do. I do think there needs to be more transparency. I do think that all needs to move forward, and I think the administration needs to address that. But we'll keep talking to them about what they're going to do.
Their memo wasn't good enough for you?
We'll see. We want to see more information out of that.
And again, transparency is a funny thing. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I know I'm harping on these things, but I think this is what's so important about today in general, so hopefully helping. But have you ever had it be foggy outside and you look through a window and it looks like you can't see through the window because it's foggy? But that's what you're actually seeing. That's the transparency. It's foggy. It's not the window's fault. It's what's past the window. So again, I don't know. I don't necessarily trust a lot of the people that have told us X, Y, and Z. I don't trust them fully, that's for sure. I trust Trump way more than I trust anybody. I trust Kash Patel a butt ton. Pam Bondi, I have no reason not to trust. I didn't know her nearly as intimately as Kash. Like, I've listened to Kash talk a bunch. Bongino I listened to quite a bit, but he also struck me as somewhat of a hothead at times. And he said things that I didn't necessarily agree with often. But he knew, like, the police and stuff like that. The dude knew that stuff really well. So, again, there was a lot to that relationship, if you will. So all of us have got to really get better at this. Thomas Massey, we all deserve to know what's in the Epstein files. How do we know we don't already? Again, Thomas Massey, zero trust for this fucker. Zero trust for Massey. Why is he supporting this? You know he's not on our side. Who's implicated and how deep does the corruption go? They literally think they've got this documents they're hiding because Trump's a part of it. If they had shit against Trump, they would have used it. It is impossible, unless they're planning on manufacturing some stuff, or they already have, and they're waiting for the files to go public so they can sneak them in, if you will. Maybe, but I think Trump's done a good job cleaning out who's around him, and I also think that's part of the timing and problem. We want to arrest a bunch of people. We've got judges we can't even trust right now. I mean, we just got to get our priorities. Like, we have to understand the problem better, which most of us don't. And we need to get our priorities aligned along that. And stop going after, like, the shiny thing that we really, really want. And accept the fact that that will come. That the arrests, the Guantanamo Bay stuff, like, that's going to come when it does. And not a second before, and not a second after. That'll come when it does. There is a huge thing happening. In 6 months' time, amazing progress has been made. Losing sight of that for even a frickin' microsecond will fuck up all your judgment. It's time to just take a frickin' breath. In the nose, hold it a sec, out the mouth. Sacred breath. Do it 3, 4, 5 times. You'll feel a little better. So Massey's trying to get something in front. He's going to go around and get a bunch of signatures, which will force a House vote, which is fine. Sure, let's release them. Let's have the House say, release the documents and the Kraken, just because it's fun to say. But Okay. What if they're already out? Are we not going to believe them? Because we expect what Tucker said to be true? Mike Johnson seeks to gloss over the division with Trump and Epstein. Again, he was on the Benny Johnson thing. He goes, go watch the interview I did with Benny Johnson. I was very clear. We're for transparency. I'm saying the same thing the president is that, you need to have all of the credible information released for the public people to make their decision. We trust the American people, and I know the president does as well. That's an important principle to abide by here. He's saying the same thing I'm saying, or I'm saying the same thing he's saying. I'm supporting what they're doing. I'm picking up what they're putting down. And more of us need to. They spin this. Well, he's not totally in support of blah, blah, blah. It's the people spinning it. It's your loomers. It's your freaking Laura Loomers and your others that Republicans on the House Rules Committee voted Tuesday to block the release of documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein, saying it should be up to the President Donald Trump to decide whether to make them public. Now, this is what's interesting about this. This is what's stated. Republicans on the House Rules Committee voted Tuesday to block the release of documents. That's not actually true, and thank God. Once again, for the Bulldog, who I normally get pissed off at. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she always comes back. That's one thing that's kind of cool about her. That's why I call her Bulldog. I'm not trying to be derogatory by it, but she'll run. You don't even need to have her on a leash. She'll run out and attack whatever the hell, and then she comes back. She's meant to be that way, I'm pretty sure. But she said that the House Republicans did not unanimously vote to block the release of the Epstein files. Quote, that is not true. It was a procedural vote. We voted against Democrats having House floor control. Yet, and no, not trying to rip on police frequency, but this was his words. Republicans on the House Rules Committee voted Tuesday to block the release of documents. No, they fucking didn't, dude. And you're running around calling yourself police frequency. I understand law. I understand order. And again, I'm wrong on a bunch of shit too. How do you handle that? This helps. This is insider paper, though, not police frequency telling us this. You see, police frequency's got that name. We think, oh, it's police. They know what they're talking about. Anybody could grab that name. It was whoever was smart enough to grab it first is who owns it. Not necessarily police. Here's Pam Bondi. She's talking about whether or not she's going to quit.
I'm going to be here for as long as the president wants me here, and I believe he's made that crystal clear. It's 4 years, well, 3.5 now, right? We've got 6 months in, and it feels like 6 years. But I was with Director Patel this morning, and we are working on fighting violent crime. We are working on all these issues that we deeply care about to make America safe again and get these drugs off our streets.
You see how they're turning us against the people that we actually trusted just 4 seconds ago? You see how effectively they're doing that? Now, this is funny. This is Kash Patel back in the past. And this is actually pretty cool, talking about how all roads lead back to Watermelon Head. By the way, we're shifting gears from Epstein. Sorry, it's sort of abrupt. And Kash Patel's here, which could mislead you. We're done with Epstein. Hopefully. Should be. Well, I'm done with it today. Right? But here's Kash Patel talking about Watermelon Head. Sorry.
It's almost all roads always lead back to Watermelon Head. And I know you don't like me using that, but Adam Schiff is the worst criminal in Congress in the last 250 years. And what broke that we're going to talk about right now is Adam Schiff met with a whistleblower.
Well, exactly. And this is, we just heard about it kind of hot off the presses maybe half an hour ago. But essentially, this is, apparently he met or had already met with Ciaramella prior to Ciaramella coming out as a whistleblower, which is a huge problem.
That's not how it's supposed to go. And if you recall, and our audience can go back and look at it, Adam Schiff went to the podium day after day after day saying, I know nothing about this. We're not going to discuss it. We're going to protect it. And then he, Adam Schiff, led the prosecution of the impeachment trial in the Senate of President Donald Trump. Talk about someone who was conflicted out of the game because he was part of the hoax that brought Ciaramella in, manufactured that false accusation, and then peddled it out to the world. And he continued, not surprising, he's lied about almost everything in his life. But now he lied just to set up a presidential impeachment. And that's what I was talking about, these disinformation campaigns. These radical left liberals are much more evil than we will ever be. And I don't ever want to be that evil. They want to go in and say, we can do whatever we want so long as we get Trump, because we're saving the world from a duly elected president that we don't agree in his foreign policy. A foreign policy that would have never had the Nord Stream 2 explode, that would never have had Ukraine invaded by Russia, that would have CCP on the downward spiral instead of the upward spin. So when you break through that and ask them, what did you actually like about him? They just didn't like the man. And so their job was to get the man. And if Adam Schiff isn't investigated for this and thrown off every single committee, and I'm going to call all my friends that I used to work with on Capitol Hill come January 1 and say, Adam Schiff, Swalwell and company cannot be on any single committee in Congress, period. They did that to us. They showed us what the powers of Congress can do. And then he should be investigated because he lied to the world about his interactions with Charmella, who was a whistleblower, and I can't stress it enough, that started a presidential impeachment. Now, your history is way better than mine, but I can't remember the last time a president was actually impeached. It's a significant process and escalation, and it's reserved for the time when it actually shows a crime, not when it shows the manufacture of fake information to show a fake crime.
Well, I know, and I guess technically the Senate never, ratified the impeachment, so I don't know where that stands, but yes.
Well, the Senate voted
very
it down.
unusual. Yeah, exactly.
So the impeachment is just the bringing of charges, but my problem was, what I was saying was the lawyers representing the Democratic Party on that impeachment, one of the lead lawyers was Adam Schiff presenting the case to the Senate. The Senate acts as a jury in a presidential impeachment trial. And what you're referring to is the Senate voted down, found Trump not guilty of any crimes or improprieties related to that impeachment charge. But the guy that found and manufactured the evidence with Charmella was the prosecutor in the case against the target of the investigation. That is the ultimate, from a prosecutorial standpoint, conflict of interest. But he knew what he was doing, and he thought he would never get exposed. And I think thanks to, I think it was John Solomon and his fantastic reporting, we now see what I've been saying for years, that I thought he met with him for sure, and it will come out, and it now has.
And it has. FBI opens grand conspiracy probe on the weaponization, opening a door to special prosecutor. What's super important about this is many of the crimes that have been committed, many of these guys, these bad guys, are like, the time's up, right? Statute of limitations is over. But when they come at it from this direction, which they're legally allowed to, statute of limitations doesn't matter because it's proving a conspiracy. So if there's proof and evidence of multiple crimes occurring, even though some of those crimes cannot be prosecuted as a crime as such, but when taken together and going after them on a conspiracy, a grand conspiracy crime, well, they very much can bring evidence up that would be considered past statutes, right? You can bring the evidence up and prove it. This definitely, here's the proof we have that this is the crime they committed outside of statute of limitations. Well, yeah, that looks like that's true. Defense, what do you say? You got nothing, right? There's a picture of you actually with your hand in the cookie jar. This is huge. Again, Epstein's right now. Distraction, right? This is huge. Adam Schiff's going to get dragged into this. Comey is going to get dragged into this. Brennan is going to get dragged into this. Epstein. Flat Earth, for that matter, too. But I don't think that's just a general. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Okay? Whatever. Joe Biden's work husband, he pleads the fifth. He dodged a bunch of House questions. Figured he would. Probably didn't say anything. Probably didn't lie. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Part of me would love to watch some of that, but most of it probably just pissed me off. That's kind of why sometimes that's probably why there's no good, I didn't see any good video from it. Maybe it's closed doors, might have been. Look, folks, I got to tell you, I am tripping out big time on The Wellness Company. The Wellness Company. You want to go to twc.health/OTF. I've told you guys, I've been very honest about all my stuff. First off, Contagion Kit. You definitely want to check out the Contagion Kit. It's got hydroxychloroquine. It's got ivermectin. It's got azithromycin, which is an antibiotic, a very good one. You've got Tamiflu, or a generic version of it anyways, antiviral as well. budesonide, so it's like a asthma medication. It kind of opens up your airways, and they got the nebulizer. You get 5 of those. Okay, this will save your life if you for some reason get some crazy viral thing, whether it's created outside of in a laboratory, in a wet market, or it just happens to be a shitty flu season. Right? This will save your life. The Contagion Emergency Kit. You want to check it. They got other emergency kits too that I highly recommend. Medical's got a bunch of antibiotics and other stuff. So that's just, again, I highly recommend looking into it. It's done by a doctor. These are legitimate meds, and they are backups and in case. That's just how it works, guys. And I don't know. They've got expiration dates on them, but I don't know. Right? I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. But what I will say, and this is the one that's really tripping me out right now. So when I was doing the Ivers only, not nearly as good. It wasn't. What I noticed, so I've got this little thing, I don't know, it's about that big, and it's on the skin. It's on my chest. It's just like below my pec, if you will. And it was like, I don't know, I didn't know where it came from. I couldn't understand what it was, and I'm like, I don't think it's good. I didn't get a good feel about it. I wasn't going to go to a skin doctor because they're going to be like, it's cancer. So I'm like, all right, fuck that. So I started taking the Ivers. What I noticed is it didn't continue to grow, but it didn't get smaller. I don't even know if I'm a week in. I don't even know if I'm on a week yet. I've got to be close. I told you guys when I started, I don't remember exactly how many I'm real close to a week. Plus, minus, whatever. A day or two. This is Parasite Cleanse. It's shrinking. The thing is freaking smaller. Like, noticeably smaller. I'm going to give the credit to the mebendazole with it. You got 25 mils of the ivermectin. I was doing a double of, I think, 15. So I don't think it was the ivermectin per se. It helped big time. And I was noticing pluses. I like the gas set in my just chest and body, it seemed to kind of dissipate. So I think I had a bunch of stuff that was kind of all over that was just belching out gases of different kinds. And I just always felt bloated, even if I didn't drink anything carbonated, like for days and days. And I'd just be bloated. It was gross. The 250 milligrams of mebendazole I never did. And one time I tried to order that stuff. I literally got one attempt from the post office to get it, and then they sent it back to the sender, and I think I'm just out the money, frankly. This was legit going through these guys. I got the product. The spot is getting smaller. And I'm noticing with my digestion right now is what I'm kind of noticing a difference on. There's stuff that's definitely dying inside of me. In a good way, I guess, if you will. It's tripping me out. That's part of this process. It kills all the parasites. Parasites are directly linked in many cases, or certainly a lot of causation and correlation that are wrapped up with them in many of the sicknesses and illnesses that we have. Many, many of them. Some would go stronger words. I've got to be cautious. This Parasite Cleanse is a trip, and it works. Unquestionably. They even say on the thing, do it 21 days and then go check with a doctor or something. So it seems like it's maybe, I don't know if it's meant to be 90 days. They can't probably legally say that. But yeah, it's a lot of meds. You got 90 pills and I don't feel like, we'll see where I'm at 21 days. I'm certainly curious about this spot and how much it continues to shrink. It's shrunk a lot in 7 days. And it looked, I don't know, like a birthmark kind of. It's what it looked like, and it's getting smaller. So we'll see. We'll see. Powerful product, this for sure. Just knowing that these couple things are as amazing as they are, their supplement line, like inexpensive, really reasonably so anyways, and just awesome products. They're really, really good. They got some really, really good stuff going on. They've got it broken down in all sorts of different ways by goal, like anti-aging stuff. They've got a lot of really cool meds. Seriously, go to twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. If you haven't started your Parasite Cleanse, I recommend it. I know it's not cheap, but it's worth your life in a lot of ways. Think about that possibility, right? Is 600, like when you think about chemo and a lot of the stuff that you could potentially go through, can't hurt. And it most likely will help. Many are saying this is the gold standard. I absolutely agree with it. It's tripping me out, the experience I'm having. It's way better than just the Ivers, and I was tripping on that experience. This is even better. twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. Take over control of your life. Don't let someone else have that power. You've got this. You've got this. Home Depot founder who said he wouldn't vote for Trump is now totally sold on Mr. Trump. Oh, that's why it didn't work.
Look, let me tell you right now, I am sold on Trump. In fact, I'll say this. I think he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever.
That is a real turnaround because you didn't want to vote for him.
I tell you the reason. I want to tell you, I'm a believer. What I'm seeing happening is absolutely nothing short of a great thing. And there's a beat. People are walking with more bounce in there. It's all around.
I gave you quite a bit of grief.
Huh?
I gave you grief.
You give me grief?
I gave you grief when it was a binary choice. You're still complaining about Trump and it was a binary choice. It's like, are you kidding me?
Knowledge implies one thing. When you made a mistake, admit it.
Okay.
I think this guy is turning out to be a president.
Right.
One of the pilots on that miraculous trip to Iran that we wiped out, whatever the hell we wiped out.
Right.
He said, you're the only guy that in the presidency that would have done what you did. One of the pilots said that.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's probably right.
No probably about it. That wouldn't have happened. Again, he's taking us to war with Iran, and he said no more new wars. He didn't do a war. He annihilated ISIS. Remember that? He didn't start a war with ISIS. He friggin' annihilated them. What'd he do to Iran? Well, many years, he didn't. There's still uranium running around. They can't do anything with it. He destroyed their nuclear program. They might have a little bit of 60%, which is not nuclear fuel. It's not strong enough to make a weapon. You could make medical devices with it. So if that was their reasoning for having it, have at it. You can make power plants and you can make medical devices. You cannot make a nuclear weapon. You need to be able to go up to 90%. They supposedly didn't have any 90%. It was a very short step to get there, but all the equipment that was needed is no longer. So again, it's one of those many things that they keep kind of misrepresenting. But this guy, I want to say his name's Langone. Is that right? Anyway, he's a big wig at what, Walmart? The co-founder of Home Depot. Home Depot.
Initially, my concern was, I don't like tariffs.
That's what I mean.
I like free trade.
Right.
However, I think, damn it, give Trump credit. His instincts are good. Some of these things need to be fixed. Take Germany. Take Japan. God bless America. 80 years ago when the war was over, we made our mind up. We're not going to be the conquering hero. We're going to go in and help these countries rebuild themselves. And we did. To our credit, we did. Japanese, Japan, look at what happened. They're on their feet now. There aren't many American cars sold in Germany, but whatever's sold in Germany, there's a 10% tariff. Every other car in America is a Mercedes. I got a Mercedes, I got an Audi. I can name you all the cars we drive. Most of them are foreign. Now, they sell a hell of a lot more cars here than we do there. 2.5% tariff. That's wrong.
Again, these people are learning that what Trump's been saying is true.
I think that this big, better bill, whatever the hell I call it.
One big, beautiful bill.
Right. I was worried about inflation and I was worried about the deficit. I think there's a lot of merit to the notion that it's going to trigger such significant economic growth that we might see tax revenues going up through the profitability factor.
Yeah. I mean, Trump even said, I think the following month, June, we managed 113-ish, I don't know, 100 and something, 13-ish, maybe 17, 13, whatever. But that's how much tariff money we brought in. That's never been done before. That's extra money coming into the coffers. Extra money. It's huge. Kylie Jane Kremer, not to spend too long on this, but it's significant. She says, but I thought the left keeps saying even Trump supporters regret voting for Trump. You mean to tell me that not only is that not true, but now even people who didn't vote for him or like him are supporting him? Color me shocked, right? So again, a lot of people are coming to this new understanding that maybe Trump is better for business than we even realized. Tariff revenues topped a record 113. Oh, sweet, I got it right. No, what did I say, 14? I was still wrong. Damn it. I was close, though. I was close. I knew I was close, at least. 113 billion for the first time during the fiscal year. For the fiscal year, so I was wrong about the month, too. There we go. See, this is Again, a lot of facts I try to keep in my brain. You see all the tabs open. Get out of here. $113 billion for the first time during the fiscal year, a revelation that comes as President Donald Trump imposes nearly weekly duties on some of the world's largest economies. The U.S. received more than $27 billion in customs duties in June, the highest figure so far this year, and it continues to grow. Apparently, we've gotten up to $27 billion, so yeah, it's adding up. I mean, we're only in the 7th month, and 6 of them are on record, so yeah, that's the biggest one so far. It's interesting. President Trump says he has more trade deals in the works.
President Trump says more trade deals are in the works. He says he intends to impose tariff rates of more than 10% on imports from smaller nations. Here are the details.
We're working on probably 5 or 6. Of the 5 or 6, I'm not sure I really want to do them. You want somebody that knows how to negotiate. But we'll probably have 2 or 3. We insist on opening up the country, which is a big deal.
The president spoke to reporters on Tuesday after agreeing one deal, this time with Indonesia. That will see the country's goods hit with a 19% tariff, down on the 32% that Trump had said the country would face from August 1st. US goods will be able to enter Indonesia free from all duties. Trump said Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick were now keen to land more deals. But he said he was happy just sending out notices telling countries their rate.
I have to tell you, for the most part, I'm very happy with the letters. The letters are a deal.
Trump said letters would soon be going out to many smaller countries, which would face a rate of a little over 10%.
No, by the way, I don't know who this dude is. Bring back Tiffany. Where's my girl? Call me. Anyway, China rare earth exports hit their highest level. It sounds like they finally pushed out a crap ton of these. One, they get paid very handsomely for the precious metals. Very handsomely. This is probably a giant amount of money that came back into China, and they need money really, 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 really bad right now. They are having a hard time. So I think they went big on this one thing, but we needed these metals and stuff. So very cool. $4 trillion. NVIDIA record valuation. It literally is worth more than any company ever. That just baffled the mind. I saw some slide someplace where it showed how much it was worth, like compared to different countries. Like it was $4 trillion it's worth, apparently, as of Thursday. So that's huge. Left behind companies like Apple and Microsoft like a while ago. A little while ago. Well, what's that? That's probably Apple. Where's Apple? Oh, green is Apple. Oh, I can't tell what color that is. No, Apple's way down here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Apple. Wow, that's crazy. China hits back at U.S. over Russian sanctions. Beijing has slammed Washington's long-arm jurisdiction, calling the proposed 500% tariffs illegal. I don't know. I mean, you can just stop doing business with us as a country. I mean, it's not illegal. We're just saying it's going to cost this much more to do business here. What, do you think you're just allowed to sell your products wherever, willy-nilly? No. So, illegal, please. China, please. N-word, please. Trump tells GOP lawmakers he will likely fire Powell soon. He's gone back and forth on this, by the way. Don't even know what his actual official stance is. I don't think we're supposed to. I think Powell's supposed to be like, and there's a rumor that Powell's going to quit. Maybe. Maybe that's what Trump's trying to get him to do. Trump's a fighter. Trump's a rock star. So, again, don't get all hung up. He changed his mind. He's playing frickin' 5G chess, folks. He's using the press to get messages out there and then watching people squirm. Pay attention to the phone calls they make. Trust me, they do. Powell started making phone calls when Trump's like, I'm going to fire him. I guarantee you Powell picked up a phone and called somebody. Who? These things are happening, folks. I'm telling you. I don't know for sure. I have no proof. Don't believe me. And don't go running around thinking I've told you something that's for sure correct. I almost guarantee it. Yeah. New York Times, Trump has drafted a letter to fire Fed chair and asked Republicans if he should. And then, of course, question about whether or not he's going to. Markets are, at first they're like, S&P is down because Trump's threatening to fire Powell. Nothing's down. It's not up real good, but it's not down. It's almost like nobody cares, or they can't manipulate people. It did go down. They had their little spike in the morning, and then apparently everything's good now? Everything's copacetic? Okay, nothing changed. And you thought I was doing the DRS like Scold.com. Yeah. Over 1.2 million migrants in welfare, they say. 700,000 are jobless. This is not good. So official figures. Migrants now claiming universal credit welfare benefits in Britain. Britain is not happy with what's going on with their immigration. In fact, just in general, Europe is starting to wake up. England being part of that, though they're not part of the Union. Spain, definitely part of the Union's not happy about it. But Farage is reacting to the thousands of Afghans being imported in secret. The news isn't allowed to talk about it in Britain. You have zero free speech, England. Zero. Oh, we got to do for. No, you fucking don't. No, you fucking don't. You have shit. Okay? Shit. Now, again, our perceived freedom is, I'll admit, is pretty misplaced as well. But we are far, far freer than you guys. You guys can't say shit. And they've literally proven that. The press was silenced on the 25,000 Afghans that had been pushed to Britain back in 2023, aimed to bring that number, I guess, around there. Spanish citizens riot after elderly man brutally assaulted by a migrant. Again, this immigration thing is breaking everywhere. And I think the United States is like showing the rest of the world, you don't have to accept this, because the people that are telling you have to accept this are the people that are the problem. There's way more of us than there are of them. This European country wants Trump-style mass deportations. Once again, Spain. Recent Sigma DOS poll commissioned by the Spanish media reveals that a significant majority of the Spanish citizens, 70%, support mass deportations. It's pretty popular in this country, too, and they keep trying to make it sound like it's not, the media. They're like, no, nobody supports it here. Bullshit. It's overwhelmingly supported. In fact, there's even a bunch of Democrats that support it. The only people that don't support it are, well, you communists, and there's not that many of you. And this is what we're all finding out, essentially. This is the boogie monster that we've been so scared of. There's not that many of them. Russia attacks Ukraine with hundreds of drones and missiles, so they're obviously not done blowing them up. This is about whether or not Trump having a conversation, because it's another thing that the news is misreporting, that Trump said, what, you think you can hit Moscow? And I think what Trump was doing was basically asking Zelensky, you can hit Moscow? And he's like, yeah, we'll hit it if you give us the missiles. And I think that was Trump's point. Like, you can't do shit without what we give you. Well, no, I'm not giving you missiles so you can strike Moscow. He didn't say it probably straight to his face. Maybe he did. But here's Trump talking about it, at least to us.
Go on, and other sanctions go on.
Should Zelensky target Moscow? Should Zelensky target Moscow, sir? Should Zelensky target Moscow or deeper into Russia?
No, he shouldn't target Moscow.
Is that why you gave him more weapons, though?
No, we're not looking to do that.
Mr. President, why are you giving Mr. Putin 50 additional days to prosecute this war against?
Oh, I don't think 50 days is very long. And it could be sooner than that. I don't think 50 days is very long.
Mr. President,
you should have asked that same question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? You should ask that question. Yeah, and what did he tell you? Why did he get us into this war? You know why he got us in? Because he's a dummy. That's why. And you don't cover it right. But you should be asking that question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? Because he's incompetent. It would have never happened if I were president. So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart. And we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia.
Yeah, so again, a lot happening. Italy, they're not going to buy arms, U.S. arms for Ukraine, which good on you, Italy. And this was brilliant, by the way. This is not a slam on us in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure they're going to try to spin it as such, but it's not. This is more European nations going, no, we're not going to finance this stupid war. If the United States ain't paying for it, we're not paying for it either. Brilliant. I like this chick. I like this chick a lot. I don't know. I think she's a good person. Zelensky urges Trump to revisit Ukrainian missile proposal. Their original request. They want a deterrent, and they wanted to get our Tomahawk cruise missiles that can be nuclear capable. First off, we know they're selling our weapons. We also know they're letting others inspect them Any weapons we give to Ukraine has been very sad. Like, none of this has worked out well. Deep state is using this entire thing against us, for sure. China is using this against us, for sure. Can't trust Zelensky, that's for damn sure. The biggest English language newspaper in Ukraine, the Kyiv Post, regularly cited and used as a source by Western medias, turned on Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky after the arrest of Vitaly Shabunin. He's an anti-corruption activist. In a premiere for the newspaper in Ukraine as a whole, the authors openly criticize Zelensky and Ukraine's struggle to protect democracy, dismissing Shabunin's charges of draft dodging as an excuse meant to punish him for his exposés against government corruption. Shabunin's investigation focused on Zelensky's right-hand man, Andrei Yermak, and his deputy, Oleg Tatarov, whom are alleged to have embezzled funds meant to purchase Western weapons. I actually like their words. I feel like I say them slightly better just because, like, the letters mean something versus, like, Chinese when they spell it into English. It's like, those letters, you don't even say them the way you spell it. Like, you should spell it very differently. It's horrible. Kremlin responds to Trump's 50-day ultimatum. They're like, look, we're going to think about this. We understand he's unhappy. We're not thrilled with this discussion, but again, this doesn't shut down discussions between us. They're playing a game, folks. Trump basically said, you got 50 days to finish this fucking war. That's it. That's what he's saying. And there's a lot of back and forth going on between the two sides. Well, we're not sure what response would be proper. We will get back to you tomorrow. Right? Like, this is it. That's what they're doing. This is a game, folks. Trump said 50 days. Like, dude, get to it. And ever since, well, even prior, Russia's been like daily bombarding Ukraine. Hardcore. Maximum generation alerts been declared on America's largest power grid, by the way, East Coast, because of the super hot weather. This was for today, so some of you might have lost power already and can't watch my video yet. But many of you are probably going to experience this for another few days. It is weird. I'm tripping on our weather, and I'm not trying to be a dick right now because some of you guys are in extraordinarily warm temperatures. We are literally below, like we're 10 degrees lower than normal. Like a normal, perfect, beautiful day here in Southern California, we're like about 10 degrees lower. Like it's barely breaking 80. And it's friggin' fantastic, but it's weird. Normally it's 90 plus. Once in a while we'll break 100, but normally 90 plus. Nope. 78, I think was the high today. It's weird as hell right now. Weird as hell. They're obviously doing something. Heating. And again, this is the thing that bothers me. We're like, well, we're in charge of so many things. It's like they obviously have access to a lot of these satellite weapons that can do crazy things, and or the HARP facilities or whatever they're doing to cause the warming the way they are. This is just abnormal warming. And they're causing insane storms because of it. And this is what I think it is more than necessarily beams. Oh, by the way, it reminds me of one of the things I was totally wrong about. I forwarded, and it was from a reasonably credible source, by the way. And it's not that makes it, no, what it made me realize is that source is not credible. But they were showing, and I said, this isn't proof of cloud seeding. This is like evidence, or this is worse, or right, something like that. This isn't proof of cloud seeding. This is worse. And I tweeted it, and it's just something I retweeted, and I gave a quote. That was there was a community note put on that, by the way, and it basically said, look, this has definitely been AI generated, and there's some evidence in there, some pixelation and whatnot. And I thought it seemed weird, right? But I'm just saying, I'm open to all sides, but when I am wrong, I can own it, right? So it wasn't DEW weapons. For any of you guys that saw that tweet I put out, it wasn't directed energy weapons. Nope. AI generated that video. How many of you don't want to believe that? But anyways, they're heating up the atmosphere for sure. And they're able to do pressure differences for sure. How much further it goes, who knows? I know we believe a lot of crazy shit, and it might be true. So some of you guys probably get tired of losing your power. I'm going to tell you what, this company Energy Tech is really awesome. I haven't talked about them in a long time. I've actually got this battery. This battery backup is pretty insane. It'll do 1,500 watts continuous. It'll take a 3,000 watt spike, which means, big picture, you can run a TV, and you'll be able to run a refrigerator off this one device if you lose power. Now, if you're just worried about refrigerators, easy. You got that. And it'll run for hours. It's a pretty impressive, and this bottom part's the battery. The top is what they call the head unit, and you can actually stack multiple batteries if you want to get crazy with this thing. And there's solar panels you can use to charge it. In fact, it charges significantly faster if you do the full solar array. It'll charge in, I want to say it was under 4 hours. Otherwise, it took me about 12 hours, I think, to charge it start to finish plugged in. It took a lot longer, but it's pretty freaking awesome. That's an Energy, I-N-E-R-G-Y. It's made in America. It's made for the military. It's actually made with a metal casing, which means it's shielded. Now, when you got stuff plugged into it, that kind of breaks the shielding a little bit, so understand that. You don't want to leave it plugged in, but it's metallic, it's shielded, it's Faraday caged, basically. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, they make this for the military. Go to Energy Tech. Energy is I-N-E-R-G-Y. Tech is T-E-K. EnergyTech.com/on the fringe. EnergyTech.com/on the fringe. This thing's awesome. It's not cheap, but it's also a heavy-duty battery that's meant to last years and years. You get what you pay for. And again, made in America, made for the military. EnergyTech.com/on the fringe. Take advantage of that incredible technology. You don't want to lose out on it. Israel is attacking Syria following this conflict among the Druze and the Bedouin militias in the southwestern Syria. So now they're hitting Damascus, a place that is not southwestern Syria. This is, I find, to be concerning in a lot of ways. Now, it's sad this is happening, and this is, I think, the Mossad putting this out to make us feel, oh, poor Israel, right? But it's not a reason to necessarily start an enhanced war. This is a picture of the chick while she was literally on camera on some Israeli or Iranian channel, and this Capitol building gets annihilated. Now, I've got video of that getting hit, and daggum, it's crazy. Here it is. Check this out.
في محيط السويداء الليلة الماضية قصف جديد مبنى هيئة الأركان خالص قصف جديد يا شباب قصف خذونا بسرعة 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 إذا استهداف مبنى هيئة الأركان
blew the hell out of that building. I don't know if that's bombs or what. It's weird how that one centerpiece comes all the way up like it does, right? Like, that's like this part, like, that's weird. I don't know explosives nearly well enough at all. Like, that's just like weird. Like, so a bomb, it almost looks like something blew up from the inside. So I'm guessing something penetrated and went down all the way to the bottom and then exploded hard and just blew the hell out of this building. So yeah, a lot of crazy going on out there. So this is all Damascus because Israel's pissed off about this, again, these Druze people and I mean, this is I don't understand exactly why this is happening. It's like seems really, really, really ridiculous. Netanyahu's trial was adjourned, though, because he had airstrikes happening in Syria. I'm sure that had nothing to do with it, of course, right? I hope you know I'm joking. Trump is going to meet Qatar's PM amid the push for Gaza ceasefire. I think that's who the dude was with him. But yeah, this is a mess what's going on over there. Don't want to spend more time trying to finish this up. We're already kind of long. Johnson & Johnson's lead scientist confesses that the J&J COVID-19 vaccine was not safe and effective, reveals lack of research. What's funny is that's that one, and that one only required one shot. People were like, oh, it caused heart problems. So did the others, by the way. So, I don't know. Johnson & Johnson's, I always felt like that was the one that was based off slightly different technology. Probably didn't work. They pulled it. They were the only ones that did. But, yeah, that was the one my girlfriend got, by the way. So, yeah, there's spikes running around. I got it from her, but she seems like she's hanging tough. And, again, she's been doing a lot of healthy home stuff. So she seems to be doing all right. Kristi Noem hints TSA is going to roll back their liquid restrictions on flights. Some announcements coming soon. One of the things she's looking to get rid of. This is kind of weird. American Idol boss was gunned down in a gory double murder. Very strange. This chick, I guess, was a big deal on America's Got... was it America's Got? No, American Idol. And even the lip-syncing contest thing. I guess she's been in the business for quite a while. 15 plus years or something like that. Dude, apparently she was a little nervous. She was saying that somebody strange was in the neighborhood. There was a story of somebody renting some property, renting a building or something, or one of the things inside of her property, and saw someone hop the wall, called 911, don't really know what happened. Long story short, they seemed like they came home and came upon the individual inside their house, and that individual seems to have shot both of them dead. They got caught. Apparently the guy got caught. He was a 22-year-old. So they didn't say if he was an illegal alien. Probably was. So yeah, very sad stuff. Hunter Biden goes scorched earth on Democrats, gives blunt reason why party lost big in the 2024 election. He says, we lost the election because we did not remain loyal to the leader of the party. Your dad was an idiot, Hunter, and you are too. That's funny. I mean, again, it's just funny. That's the only reason I shared it. Pentagon awards contract to 4 artificial intelligence developers. You're all getting a pretty hearty chunk of change, by the way. Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, and XAI, they're all going to receive about $200 million each to get the ball rolling. So here again, once again, is Elon Musk getting some money, right? He can bitch and moan. Oh, Trump sucked, whatever. You just got $200 million from the government, fuckface. So you better be on the right page, buddy. And again, he doesn't necessarily make a fuckface. I bet he has like a totally different fuckface. But he is autistic, so maybe it's oddly stoic. That'd be weird. That'd be kind of strange, wouldn't it? Or maybe autism's wrong. It's a spectrum, though, right? He's on the spectrum. I'm not trying to be a dick, because these are actually some of the most brilliant people on the planet. Are some of these autistic people? They've got genius going on, and they just can't deal with the rest of us, it seems. Musk's Tesla is going to face a jury trial over the deadly autopilot crash. I think the only way Tesla can truly get in trouble on this is if they somehow knew about the problem and didn't do anything about it, like negligence. Outside of that, it's like you're not supposed to, like, that's part of the book. Did you read the owner's manual? Because it says you never should really take your hands off the thing. And the guy supposedly accidentally turned on the autopilot. He was distracted, which means he wasn't behaving as a driver. If he accidentally turned it on because of distraction, that means he was not paying attention to driving. So I'm curious how that one goes. It's in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, so you'll probably get a fair shake, I think. All said. Craziness going on, folks. Craziness going on. I love you guys. We're going to keep fighting the fight. Hopefully we get through this. Hopefully we don't lose too many MAGA people in the process, but ultimately not all of us are going to make it through this. I think there'll be a bunch of us that come on board and a bunch that we lose. I think, those numbers we'll see. We'll qualify them when the time comes. But I think we're doing a lot better than most realize. I love you guys. Thank you for the help. Thank you for rippling. Thank you for being open to the craziness that's going on, and that we're not always right about everything. Sometimes we got to adjust our understandings of things. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.